Okay, living on the road is one thing, but living on the road alone, driving a trailer, is a whole nother thing.
Oh my god, she's amazing.
But seriously, this lifestyle is so challenging, you guys. Like, it's not difficult in the way, like, I wouldn't want to do it, but it's difficult in the way where it requires me to just make my own game time decisions.
Like, I've got to be on my
And I remember there used to be a part of me where this wasn't the case. Like, I was not able to step up in this way. Interesting, I recently was kind of studying this weatherman that's here on YouTube. A lot of his forecasting is accurate, so I'm not like really trying to tear him down or anything, but I realized something came to my attention when I was reading through his comments, that so many people really worship this person, like an overgivingness, shall I say, to this individual. We must not place our faith too much in anything external. I was kind of a little bit trolling him, and I recently put out a post that said, "Ask Jesus about the weather from now on, you'll be all right." And an hour later, this double rainbow, spectacular scenery occurred. So I got my confirmation that we're going to go through trials and tribulations, like scary time. This is a time where we don't know anything. Looked at my directions and then looked at the road ahead of me and just said, wow, this is the scariest thing I've ever done. I really just don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to turn around. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have clearance. But that inner knowing, you've been set on a path, you've been listening to your higher self, God, your creator. There is a trajectory that's been set in motion, and you're following your heart. That's something called faith. And when we walk that path, we get somewhere beautiful, these little gems. I chose to drive a trailer. I love it. I have a detachable studio, and I can live in the state of my choosing. But it's very challenging in the way that a lot of times I gotta really tap in. I gotta be intuitive with my knowing, and I gotta trust. Even if we do have people like that weatherman I was talking about, we have like scientific people who are really good at what they do, we still cannot place all our faith in them and their studies and their findings. We must have that inner game time choice that we ultimately choose. Because people like him are not always going to be there, and they're not always going to be fully on our side.
Or fully real with a 100% sovereign agenda.
Sometimes they shapeshift and they become Smiths out of nowhere, and you can't fully trust them. So you must either talk to Jesus, whatever you choose to move you forward towards the light. Now, I'm a seasoned traveler, and I know going into areas, the first thing that you do is you look at the forecast. I had seen what was going on in the gorge that I was going to visit, but little did I know that there was going to be an electrical lightning storm. Things like this are unplanned. So as I found myself at the bottom of a very deep gorge, as a static electrical cloud descended upon it, I had to choose whether I was going to ascend without getting struck by lightning or stay down in the gorge and risk flash flooding and also risk being struck as well. I actually made a video of this. Just no blame, just self-trust. I had checked the weather. It was I that had walked into that gorge, and it was me that had to put one foot in front of the other and find myself out of that experience without getting lit. Now, another thing is relationships. These patterns of behavior that I also found in relationships of wanting to know how things were going to end up, wanting to know how things are going to be. I realized that the best thing I could do was to let go. If someone wants to find themselves in my company within a harmonic, energetic balance, then that's going to naturally happen. I do not chase men. The only value in the experience of trying to get to know someone is for that, is to just learn someone, but not to get someone to love you or get someone to be with you, get someone to be close. It's up to them if they make that decision. So that's also kind of in relationships. We can use that mindfulness as to knowing that you just don't know how things are going to end up. You don't know if somebody's going to be right for you. All you can do is be present and show up for the relationship, have that unconditional love for that person, asking nothing in return. I just barely learned that, like, in the past couple years. It's so beautiful. I don't need to worry. My love life is a mystery, but there is this inner knowing that I know I'm loved. I know that the right man will show up in the right time for my highest good. We can trust the information that we're being given, but we have to show up and be able to receive it. And like I said, we don't need anybody to really translate that for us. I mean, yeah, you can definitely check the weather, and that's wise to do so. Just are taking responsibility